predictions out of you gentlemen here. Golden Boy, Sancho, I want to start with you, Sancho. Who's taking the whole thing? Who's going to be that number one squad?
All right, I definitely believe that because it's very much placement heavy and not about elims, literally it's going to take so many elims just to equate a high placement. Because of that, I'm going to go with my pick is going to be Bizzle, Hogman, Zach, and Jameson. I think they're going to be a fantastic pick because of the experience of Bizzle and Hogman. They're going to recognize the aggressiveness of the circles, and they're going to figure out that center is going to be very, very important, and we'll see how that goes from there. But I think all the other teams like Tfue and Scope, I think their penalty of being ultra aggressive and wanting to go for elims like they normally do in pro-rams and things of that sort will be their comeuppance, so to speak, in this. I don't know, that's not going to be a popular opinion with the chat right now, but that will be the reason why they don't win the Super Games.
Interesting. Okay, Golden Boy, thoughts?
Yeah, no, that certainly does make a lot of sense, and I think that is going to be very interesting if that is going to be the case. I have to go, and I do agree that placement is going to be very important. And actually, I'm going to have to go with Nick30 replays Graham Glasgow and Ryan Glasgow, because if there is something that the Glasgow brothers did very well was that they prioritized placement over everything else. Because of that, they finished with a 4th place coming out of the Super Games, despite the fact that you were having an insane performance from Mason Denenberg and Brendan Rodgers. And if I had to pick a second team just to like keep the eye on, it will be that first team. It has to be that first team because of the fact that you have 2 really good players there in Hannah and Carly, but then you pair that off with Mason and Brendan. But yeah, my team, without a doubt, that I look for because of the placement has to be replays, Nick 830 and the Glasgow brothers. That looks like a very, very interesting composition of a squad that will prioritize staying alive and getting the 35 points at the end.
Okay, Sancho, do you want to pick a second team as well?
I mean, I didn't know if we're doing.
Well, I just want to give some. I just want to give some spotlight over here, you know, brother. That's it. I
feel you. Okay, my second pick will definitely have to be. I guess we already talked about Tfue Scope being a high favorite, and I think that will be like an obvious pick. But I'm gonna go with Chica, Riverson, Avante Maddox, and Dylan Windler. I think that will be another team to look at. I mean, of course, Riverson coming from Liquid as well, so he knows how to perform at a high level. He is the gauntlet back-to-back champion for both solos and duos, so he's a competitor. And of course, Chica knows how to slay out, and Avante Maddox brings in that high energy and good vibes. And we also saw that Dylan Windler from the Cleveland Cavaliers could bring in those good vibes. As long as you have that synergy going, you can have a snowball your way to victory royale. So I'm going to go with that as my. Could I
go with a dark horse? No, could I go with a dark horse that everyone needs to keep their eye on?
All right.
Okay. It's going to be Ducky the Gamer, Supremo Gaming, Cody Melfi, and Steven Thomason. Okay. Ducky is our only mobile competitor. From what I know, I could be wrong, but I know that Ducky, without a doubt, is one of our more prominent mobile competitors. I've had a chance to play with Ducky in other mobile gaming competitions in the past. That dude is a monster. He is so good. So do not sleep just because he's going to be on a tablet. Do not sleep on him. He is nasty. He is really good. And also they have higher frame rates than what you would imagine. So believe it or not. But also because Cody Melfi, while he did finish 13th place, they were chasing down a lot of fights. They were getting a little aggro, and I like that. So I think that this team is going to try and see if they can get into some boxes, try and cause a ruckus, create some problems. Maybe get some hot drops early on. I think that this is going to be a very interesting team to watch out for, and look for Ducky to be the one that's going to be leading the charge with that squad. There's a lot of talent there.
Yeah, for sure. Check that Twitch Rivals extension. Scroll down, find Ducky the Gamer, and go watch the most amazing tablet Fortnite gameplay you've ever seen, chat. I guarantee it's worth like 5 minutes of watching at least. Just go watch and just be mesmerized by how much better that guy is on a tablet than you are on the best gaming rig in the world. I would go with Booga and Emat are kind of like my shadow. Like that's the team that I think is going to take it down. If I had to pick a second team, which I do because you both picked second teams already, I think I'm going with Chap, Benji Fishy, Trevor May, and Chase Elliott. Okay, you talked about all 3 other guys. I want to talk about Chase Elliott, one of my favorite. I root for 3 people in NASCAR. I root for William Byron, I root for Chase Elliott, and I root for Jimmy Johnson. And they've all 3 had. Chase is the last one of the 3 that's actually gotten a win in NASCAR. So he's the best of the 3 at the moment. And I'm just excited that I get to do anything that involves Chase Elliott here. But honestly, the other 3 competitors, exceedingly good gamers. And you brought it up earlier, Golden Boy, Trevor Trevor May is just as much of a streamer in this situation. He's kind of a dual threat option here. Like he kind of snuck in. This roster's cheating, I think. So we'll see what happens here. Let's get into game number 1. See where we're going. See if we go to that agency. See where people make the plays and where that first circle is. Because like you said, Sancho, this thing starts right out the gate.
Absolutely. You're seeing here, this is center of the entire map. The agency and Golden Boy, you heard so itself that's going to be a highly sought after area. But here we are on board with Christian, and they're heading towards Lazy Lake. This is going to be a very interesting. I would be curious to see where the first circle is, but no doubt picking a centralized location like Lazy Lake. And again, they're going to have to move very, very fast because there are no breaks, and it looks like there is someone here, Golden Boy.
Oh, without a doubt, we were going to get people dropping on top of one another simply because of the way that this whole format is. You'd mentioned Trevor May, and I think, before we all gathered together to talk about the competition to get ready for it, I think I had said, like, I can't believe they allowed him to compete as an athlete in this thing, because he's just as good as a player and as a actual gamer than he is as an athlete. But this isn't looking good right away. We already got D-Morg knocking out Emad, but Booga is going to get the revenge there. And Emad is down right now, so they're going to have to make some adjustments. Maybe try and get to Emad, at the very least, being able to pick up his reboot card. I don't even know if you're going to have time to reboot your teammate in this, but you got 1 minute and 15 seconds to loot up as much as you possibly can, and it seems like they will be in the safe zone currently. And look at Booga just chucking his teammate over to the side. One of the new mechanics that were added there, and oh my goodness, Christian was just beamed.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, man. That is Demi Fiber, Kurt Benkert, and David Morgan. Kurt Benkert and David Morgan competing in the Streamer Bowl.
Dang,
that
they're
is
getting
the
lasered right now.
NFLPA champion Kurt Benkert pushing on Christian and getting the knock on Christian already right out the gate. The first E-Limb goes down to Captain America being taken out by Kurt Benkert.
That is just shocking, but the fight continues on, though. Kurt's going to have to play a little bit of defense here and get back. He's going to need his teammate to back him up here. This is a duo that we didn't really talk about all that much, to be frank. And I think that it's partly because, there is some information on him. Obviously, Fiber being a member of Liquid, but, Demisucks, he's a content creator, or Demisucks is a content creator for Built by Gamers, which is also, for me at least, relatively new. I hadn't really heard of them much before this. So clearly, this is going to be a squad to look out for. And Demi is already leading the charge here.
Considering that they went toe-to-toe against one of our picks, is quite impressive. And we're taking a look at Demi here, and you're already seeing the smiles, Golden Boy, the good vibes, and that is always important, getting that first engagement and winning, coming out on top. So I mean, I was surprised that Kurt Benkert and David Morgan slipped down in the draft to this position. I mean, Nick 830 and Replays had an opportunity to take them, and they went with your pick, the Glasgow brothers. So already Demi and her crew are looking fantastic, and they're going to take their time. And what's most important, Golden Boy, is their near center. So as you see in that very top right, as Demi has a very, very small map here, but the circle is already moving, and 71 of our competitors are alive, and they already have 3 E-Limbs. So that's 6 points already for the squad.
Yeah, players are already dropping off. You can see real small on Demi's screen there. As we jump over to David Morgan now, D-Morg, who also was fun to watch in the qualifiers. They squeaked by the way. They were the team that we thought was going to cleanly make their way into the top 12, but they got 12. At the last moment, they got 12, and they found themselves here in the finals. So it goes to show how stacked that lobby is, even for people like Zach Hyman, the owner of E11, right? Yes, he is a professional athlete, but he's also an owner, maybe one of the only athletes in our competition that is, quote unquote, signed by an org, and that's because he owns the org. And even they had a hard time getting into this one. I think they came into it like I want to say 11th or something.
Yes, yes.
So, there's a ton of competition here, and it does not shock me that we're already being surprised by a team out of the gates. Was that a clean team wipe, though? Or is Booga and Emad, or are they still in it?
There's at least one person alive because they have 3 E-Limbs. So one of them has to be running around. Be interesting to see if they catch them. I think they probably disengage, which is the right move. But I mean, I'm taking a look at everybody's inventory. So far, Demi's looking good. She has floppers. So I mean, I'm telling you, Golden Boy, the blitz mode LTM. Once you start getting into it, it chunks for a lot and it hurts.
I love this.
Barely have time. And as we're taking a nice overview into a nice engagement, you're seeing multiple teams or 2 teams around each other. You see Benji, Trevor, May, and you see Chase right there, and that's going to be interesting. But again, Bizzle and Hogman, knowing the importance of high ground, have a great, strong position here, Golden Boy.
Yeah, and the experience for someone like Benji probably telling his teammates, yeah, we don't want to deal with that. That's a fight we don't want to take. It's simply not worth it. Chopper, though, flying up into the sky here as we got the legend himself, Bizzle. I've enjoyed watching this dude play competitive Fortnite for such a long time.
I think I'm gonna do that. There's a team at the house.
And they're talking strat, and I like this. So what he's saying here is, should I go after that other hill? Because if I go after that other hill, we have a better position inside a zone. We also have maybe we decide to leave some players over to the side, and if they have a launch pad, which Bizzle does, they will be able to regroup with one another. They will also just get more vision. While it is great to kind of tower up, create some kind of coverage for yourself, you really do want to try and own as much space as you possibly can when players are going to start to converge in the zone, and then you are going to seek to gatekeep them from getting inside of the safe zone.
Absolutely. I mean, building up these structures are so important. And of course, you talked about Benji being a high competitor. You can't forget, he's actually on the EU side, and he called himself a 100 ping warrior. So he's going to be dealing with that, and that's going to be definitely a factor in the end games. But I like Benji says to himself, we talked to him in the interview, he's super confident. But it's interesting to see the strategy that Bizzle and Hogman have implemented, where they have these structures and they're able to go back and forth just in case Circle has to rotate their way. But they're like sending out Bizzle, who knows, and Hogman how to fight when they get caught out in the open, to grab materials from them as if like they're doing it. And look at this circle, Golden Boy. We got a little peek of it. It's far all the way on this side of the map. It's going to be very aggressive. It's going to keep pushing everybody really quickly as Benji's getting hit a little bit. But things are about to, as they say, business is about to pick up here, Golden Boy.
Indeed it is, my friend. Indeed it is. Benji also tunneling out a little bit just to give Chase and his teammates too, but to help Chase out, because Chase is going to be a little behind. They will have the circle right there, right on their tail. They'll just have to get right on top of this hill. And this goes right back to that whole thing where we talked about before, who is going to own what territory and how are they going to try and gatekeep. The thing is with this mode, you really can't do that. You don't have much of an opportunity to do the gatekeeping, because chances are when that zone is moving, it's probably going to be moving against you as well. Even taking a gander at what we have regarding their loadouts. Trevor, he's got himself a green SMG and a green pump. I'm sure he would love to have himself something different. Absolutely. But for right now, this is all he's going to have to work with.
Man, he's in a what my boy Monster D-Face likes to call in shambles with his loadout. Literally 30 SMG bullets and 7 shotgun shells. And I know that, I mean, they did have opportunity to baby, but I'm telling you, as you look ahead, this is going to be a rat race into center. I mean, Chica has a strong positioning. You're looking on the left side, there is Kyler Murray's team with the IM60 Angelica. Bizzle's up ahead. So this is just a mad dash to center as fast as possible. As you can hear their comms, we just have to run. There's no stopping here as Trevor May does get knocked out by Storm. I'm telling you, Golden Boy, this Storm's going to be a factor, baby. As you see the crash pad coming out, nice use there. They do have a pad, and they literally have to pad out.
You have to fly away, and because you're constantly going to be running away from the safe zone. The players are going to be scattered all about here. Look at this circle. We got 45 players still standing in this game, and that circle is going to be super small. And this isn't like a normal circle where you have 45 players in like FNCS, and oh man, just destroyed and eliminated right away. That is unfortunate.
Asen gets the elim there, but we're heading towards the grotto and on board with Cypher PK. Tfu's teams has to be around here. We're Cypher PK and Dr. Lupo, and you could see the skill that Cypher has here, tunneling out, making sure that he's taking all the real estate as possible. Has a decent loadout here, already with 10 points, but as you can see, it's just the chaos is building, and this mountain is not going to be easy. So I have to assume that Tfu and Scope are sitting on top of this mountain, Golden Boy.
Oh no, and Lupo, he ended up missing his jump. Maybe wants to act a little bit like his buddy Timothy the Tat Man. But yeah, that jump is going to cost him, and Lupo is out. So that's a heartbreaker. Pulled a great Tim the Tatman impression, missed it. Didn't die to fall damage though. He just missed the jump, which is, you know, part one of, you know, taking Tim damage. Part two is, you know, taking the actual damage. Then Cypher, he's just going to get blown up there. And I think that was going to be Tfue that it was the one that made that happen. I think D-Mark just picked off Bro too. So that was one of the more dominating duos that we have. Trying to stay alive here with this med gun as much as possible. It's going to be Hogman, but Hogman finally is going to meet his own demise and will be eliminated. So that is a 6th place finish for them. They'll be able to mount themselves up a 15-point finish there. But this is basically just coming down to the final moments, and it is getting this is ending very, very quickly, quicker than what you could possibly imagine. A 3rd place finish there for Chica, and yeah, it's over. It seems like Tfue and his teammate, they finished 2nd. So who finished in 1st? Who took the 1st place victory?
That was crazy.
I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, definitely near these end games, it's gonna be so chaotic, and I mean, that is insane. As you saw, people just dropping like flies, scrambling through retail row, trying to go up the grotto. So that was insane.
Aircool's squad took the victory there. Aircool, the player who was denied getting to play with Xavier Woods, his friend. This was Vince Dunn, Jordan Kyrou, and Mr. Conram there took the victory. Looks like the squad worked out for him, Sancho.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great squad. I mean, Aircool himself, I mean, he played in so many different comps as well. He competed in the Scallywag, the Gauntlet, the Summer Skirmish, the TwitchCon. So I'm telling you, you heard in the comms, and Golden Boy, you heard it too, how, and the people out there in chat, they were like, okay, we need to readjust what we're doing. We cannot do what we're normally doing. I could have used the pad there. So many people just dropping to that circle as they just dominantly just, you just saw the whole field get wiped out every time.
Everyone was just running. You said this earlier to us, like when we were getting ready for this, that players, it's going to take a little bit for them to adjust to this format. This is very different. You're going to be constantly moving. I would imagine that in our next game, you're going to see these players dropping in circle and fighting for territory. So the matches are still going to end very quickly, but they're going to drop in circle now rather than trying to drop outside, because you don't have, there's a 50-50 chance of that circle being on you or being as far away from you as possible over in Narnia. So there's no way for you to be able to scale that. So you want to go as center as possible and then rotate from there. That is going to be the best possible option for all these players as they continue to learn how to play in the blitz mode.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. You saw Bizzle and Hogman. They were kind of set up to gatekeep some of Lazy Lake, but you're right. As soon as you're on that edge,
up on him.
You're gonna get you're just gonna get shoved right immediately. So it's gonna be so cool to see how all our players and competitors are gonna adjust. And definitely, I mean, I feel for Trevor May, literally walking around with a TAC and an SMG with barely enough resources. But this is the name of the game when it comes to the super games.
It certainly is. That was the first of our 5 super games. We're going to get game 2 here in just a moment, so we're going to take a quick break, get that game set up. We'll be right back on Twitch Rivals.
That was crazy, y'all. Okay, we got 3 minutes till the next one. We'll wait it out. Okay, we'll see.
We are back in game 2. We'll be starting here in just a little bit, chat. I'm your host, Wavepunk. I've got Golden Boy and Sancho here walking us through the Twitch Rival Super Games featuring Fortnite. We've got 20 of the best athletes we could find and 20 of the best streamers we could find. Is that correct? No, it's 40. 40. I think that's how that math works out.
Two of the best looking casters you could find.
That's right, Wavepunk and Sancho.
Yeah. Oh, and Golden Boy's here too, guys. You talked about this one like Golden Boy. I think it was like a minute and a half before the game ended. You're like, "There's 45 players left in this lobby. This is going to be a crazy end game," and then it was over.
I mean, I wasn't wrong. You know, I said it was going to be a crazy end game. I didn't say that. I didn't think that the end game there would be no end game. It was literally like a Thanos, just snap. That's what it was.
It was like that. That's
snap, and they were all gone. Man, they don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. But I think now, these players, they learned a day, and they're gonna apply it for the next game. This was one of those situations where the game straight up did say, "Oh, you gonna learn today. You want to drop outside of the zone? Yeah, best of luck with that. Oh, guess what? You got no launch pads. Oh yeah, there's like not a lot of mobility. You gonna learn today."
Yeah, for sure. We can take a look at the squad that won. That was
Andy,
Mr. Conram,
really
Aircool, Vince Dunn, and Jordan Cairo. They've got the teammate synergy in real life on hockey, and now teammates here in Fortnite. This squad, the Aircool was pretty confident that he was going to do pretty well today here and during our draft, Sancho, and he showed up here in game 1.
Yeah, like I said right before the break, he's competed in the FNCS duos. He's competed at TwitchCon, the Blackheart, Scallywag, any kind of cup out there that Fortnite offers. He's a part of it. I mean, the main important thing as well, we can't forget Mr. Conram. Mr. Conram plays games with Avery and Hippie Habitat, and those guys they kind of have fun and they know how to enjoy different LTMs as well, and that is what this is all about. Like, who could have the most the focus and the intensity, and you have to have that as well as playing in LTMs. This one is no joke. This is why it's called Blitz. And I remember at the first time it was brought in Chapter 1 and how it was just so different and how chaotic the end game is. It's just instantly shoving you towards center. And I think what's kind of interesting, Golden Boy, that you talked about it, that Tfue likes to land in Grotto, and that was a big factor of him getting second place.
Yeah, exactly. It just so happened that it worked out for him, but it may not work out for him or for anyone that decides to go Grotto. Again, expect to see more situations like we saw in the beginning, players dropping on one another and then just trying to fight it out. But whether or not they're going to come out of that unscathed, that is very doubtful. And that could also have implications. But we're ready for game number 2. Let's jump into this one. There's the yacht, probably one of my favorite POIs.
Yeah,
I love that joint. That thing is super cool. Also because of Deadpool, and I'm a big Deadpool fan.
It's definitely one of the prettiest spots on the map right now. Just so many colors here. Now, I want to say, Sancho, you said Tfue and the company were not going to do well because of the game mode. They came in second.
I mean, my only concern was that the circle was going to be away from where they normally wanted to land in the grotto, and it literally went right to the grotto. So that was a big plus for them. As you can see, the adjustment that Aircool on board with our first place here, Golden Boy, taking like a slow glide, just kind of like flying right over, even though you land at the outside here. But I think the slow glide tactic was a huge advantage for them for netting them that first victory royale.
Yeah, seeing where people are going to land will give you an idea. Some of these POIs are going to be pretty bare bones and empty, and I think that Aircool certainly didn't expect to be landing here on the track. You're really not going to get much out of this. There is some wood around here, but maybe 1 or 2 chests, if I'm correct. Like not directly around here. You kind of just have to go hunting for it, like in those houses and stuff that are down low. So that could be the loot that Aircool gets. It almost feels like whatever it is that you manage to get your hands on, that's what you're going to be rolling into the end game with, because that storm, it's already moving. You saw it on the screen when we jumped on with Aircool. And also, I'm not too wild about the idea of dropping slow. I know that it seems like it seems like a sound strategy, but I'm not too privy to it, only because that's just going to be time that you're wasting not looting and not gathering materials.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did see the chopper as well. The chopper could be a factor, something that they added this previous season or so. They added that chopper. So I mean, maybe a team, dude, goes in full meme and starts to fly over the chopper. We did see that there was engagement out there in the orchard as well with Tina's team. Tina being a TwitchCon champion out there. So that will be an interesting engagement, because that's going to be the next engagement that we're on board here, Mr. Conran, will have to face. But they basically, what ended up happening, they sent the St. Louis Blues players out to the actual POI to get some materials and get some loot, and they're going to hit up the slurp truck, which is going to give them that shield they're going to look for. And I'm expecting a big old bash here at the orchard, because the circle is starting to push everybody towards center.
Yeah, and the circle has shrunk again, so that means that it is going to be moving. It will take around 2 minutes and 22 seconds to get to the center. They're also going to be playing on the smaller portion of the circle. You got the Gen G crew out there along with Zap. And I think they heard someone. I mean, Rosie was just building, but I think that may have just been a little giddiness there, just probably putting some builds down, perhaps. They clearly don't know and are not aware that there is going to be a team just directly in front of them. Maybe Aircool is running around and could see them hopping up and down, because players do have a tendency to do that. There it is. They have identified them. So I was listening in. They have identified those players. What do they opt to do, though? Do they go for the fight? I don't think it's worth it right now. No. I say just keep moving.
Absolutely, keep moving, and our camera is going to fly over his and see why they have to keep moving, because you have Benji, Chase Elliott, Trevor May, and Chap sitting right here. Grotto Chap, of course. As you can see, they're making away, and I know an MGL leader like Chap is going to make these adjustments necessary to get him the victory royale. And we'll see some pot shots bringing out, but Trevor May is in trouble here, because he has the low ground, and he has to make this. I don't think they're going to engage him, Golden Boy. You called it. I think they're realizing how crazy the storm circle is. Actually, some shots are going back, like some warning shots, like, hey, man, you're encroaching in our area here. Back up, back off.
Yeah, they did put some shots in that direction, which I thought was a complete smart play to do, because you're also just going to be burning resources. Now he's down to 58 shields. He only has 2 minis, and if you pop 2 minis, that gives you 50 shields. But you can't pop those minis if you're already low, right? You have to be at 0 and then be able to pop the minis. So for those reasons, like, Aircool now has to just use up more resources, which is something that you don't want to do, and then you're going to lose out on those resources. You're not going to get much opportunity to be able to heal up anyway when we start to get into the meat and potatoes of this next game. But for now, just gather everything that you can. Thankfully, as well, you have the accelerated looting, or excuse me, the accelerated farming that will come into play. So you can gather in a lot of these buildings a decent amount of metal. But now you got the Gen G crew with Zap and Braindead on one end. You got our winners from the last game, Aircool, Mr. Conram, Vince Dunn, and Rosie. They're going to be all the way in the back. And then you got Chap, Benji, Trevor, and Chase Elliott all on that left side. This could end up being some crazy action. But I, again, don't think, Sancho, that they're going to want to spend the time fighting each other. They're basically fighting the storm.
Same chairs.
Yes, and I think the effect of that storm kind of put everybody on their heels, and they're trying to figure out, all right, and that's what makes all these players great in terms of our streamers. They know how to adjust, they know how to plan, and let's see what athletes could keep up with them. Just like in the sports world, you have to make adjustments. And we're gonna check over here. Benji now has a crazy fight with Tokata and Ranger out there. There is a crash pad down below, and now we're seeing everybody jockeying for position, Golden Boy. Benji's going to sit up in this metal fort and realizing that he has a team right above him. Again, the 100 ping warrior has to do all that he can to make sure that he doesn't get any kind of ticks or tacks or get hit right there. And he does see someone looking for some shots. Doesn't get any, but as you can see, there are only 15 points, Golden Boy, and our first place leaders have about 40 plus. And as you can see, that is something that they have to take in factor here. But I think Benji is no doubt they're going to make the proper adjustment. And I think that is going to be the theme of Game 2.
All these players have come to the realization that the way that they play Fortnite regularly is not going to be suitable in this instance. So they go for the center, but there's so many players
Dang,
all around one another
lasering.
here. You got, you got Sky, you got Bumper all the way out in one end. You got Air Cool and Conram. They're going to be pushing in. D-Morg is going to go down. Benji Fishy, he's going to go and thirst that one. Does manage to pick up the resources, and the most important item that he could possibly snag out of that was going to be the shields. So that is massive. Also, a blue AR is on the ground in case anyone needs an upgrade. Going now to Chase Elliott's perspective, hey, put down some shots, support your teammate, make some calls, let them know where they're going to be. And this is really smart because they're keeping Trevor alongside Chase. In case Chase gets caught in a situation where he's going to have to build his way out of it, he will have Trevor there to back him up because Trevor is more than capable of being able to tarp out and also just create so much space for anyone else that's going to push in and engage in these fights. And another thing too, Sancho, that they're doing, and you may have picked up on it, look at all of the builds that they put out right here. Anyone wants to try and challenge them, they have a ton of space to run around, and this is all terrain that at this point in time they own because they place everything down. And if anyone wants to try and get into this, they're going to have to hack away at it, and that will give them a notification. They'll know, or not a notification, but they'll hear it, they'll know, and then they'll be able to engage
right
or
here.
disengage however they see fit.
It's fascinating. This is such a unique way that a different way that we've been watching Fortnite. I mean, you see Bala up here at high ground, making sure that he has the real estate. You have Benji's team down below, making sure they have that. And we're on board here with Bala from the Twitch Rivals family. And a lot of people use hashtag Baller for comp. And Bala's using his game sense and knowledge to make sure that he has the dominant position here, looking for a box fight, making sure that this team does not challenge him. He's going to go for piece control, gets it, and he almost gets a nice hit with that tack. Doesn't have a lot of resources when it comes to weapons, but Bala is trying his best to bully his way into that box, knowing that a team down there is going to be very dangerous. But here it is, Golden Boy. The circle moves them out, and they have to disengage. They have to get out of there because any moment standing here is going to be a big problem as Bala does get tagged, and he's going to try to kind of like ball up here, no pun intended, ball up here for a second to try to get away from this action that's pushing him. Here comes Big Daddy Storm, about to put everybody to bed. Look at the ticks there. The Storm Pad doesn't help the Crash Pad.
Oh my goodness. Oh, the big plays.
Big Bala, big brain Bala. Oh my goodness.
Dude, what a play. What a play. But the problem is, though, is that he's still going to keep running. He's going to keep running, and he's not going to get much of an opportunity to be able to heal himself back up. He does have bandages. That takes time. He has minis. That doesn't take as much time, but it's still going to be time that he'll be losing out on. And look at all these players as they push on up the mountain. You're going to have Emad there waiting on the side. You got DJB there. You also have Avante and Dylan Windler. This was a duo that was playing really well in the qualifiers, but I bet you they were not expecting this. Our first place team, they're going to be in a world of hurt as Rosie is going to be down, and Conram and Aircool just trying to fight him out. As Benji Fishy, just the sneaky boy that he is, has somehow managed to just climb up this mountain. Issue is, he just got chunked for a ton of damage. Up on the high ground, you got Cypher, Dr. Lupo, as they're just trying to get into the circle, and this is where the chaos is just going to unfold. And this is it right here. Bizzle, very low on HP. It's coming down to the final moments. Tifu's going to be up on the high ground. Tifu gets knocked down. Tifu's out of here. And Aircool has the high ground, and they're just going to continue to get ticked. And it's Aircool up on high. High Sky couldn't even get there, and this could very well be a win for them if it keeps up like this. But Aircool can't survive the storm. Hogman's just healing up. Riverson is healing up too, and I think this is going to come down to an HP battle, and it's Hogman and Riverson, whoever manages to get this. If Riverson just holds for a little bit longer, I don't think Hogman has enough health, and that is going to be the game. Liquid Riverson and company pick up the victory, but it literally came down to health. It came down to just being just being a rat and just hiding and healing up. So Cheek Alive, Riversan, Avante, and Dylan Windler pick up the Game 2 victory. And I think we're going to see new winners each and every time because this is chaos. This is pure chaos.
Dude.
No, that was such jubilation there at the end, Sancho.
I know, man, but it was just insane. I mean, seeing the whole lobby go all the way to the end and go to this insane heal off. it feels like the mode is in its truth in its name, that it's a blitz. And we saw Tfue doing what Tfue does, by the way, and at the last second, always trying to get the high ground. He took it, and then the rocket launcher knocked it out, and he got obliterated. But what a finish, Golden Boy. What a finish.
I honestly think that from the learnings from game 1 to game 2, this was a way cleaner experience for a lot of our competitors, that they recognize, just keep moving, get to that center. And some players were creating strategies around it, like what we saw from Benji and his team, where they were just tunneling out and owning as much space as they could. Issue being, they didn't have high ground. And it doesn't matter whether you're playing regular Fortnite, whether you're playing duos or trios or solos, high ground will always and forever be king, until you get to that final moment there, where at that point you're just hoping one of your teammates has a med gun and a bandy gun, is just shooting himself, and then trying to just pop some floppers. Look for floppers to be a big thing. People are going to get themselves some fish, and they're going to use those in the end game. Guarantee it. That is going to be a hot ticket item in game 3.
Well, we'll see, folks. We're here in game 2, though. Chica Live, Riverson, Avante Maddox, and Dylan Windler, one of Sancho's top 2 picks to finish this all here on top. We'll take that victory. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we will have game 3 of the Super Games. Stick around. You're watching Twitch Rivals.
Solid, solid. Get ads now. I did not find this game fun at all, and was rated M too, so like Okay, and let's play some duos.